Hello, thank you for joining me today for today's card tutorial. Welcome to my studio. My name is Denise Cox. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. And today is Bird's Nest Designs card tutorial for my Stamp of the Month Club featuring the gorgeous new Sending Smiles stamp set. So this is a card that we're going to be creating. This is one of 3 that the members of my club make. And we are going to be using Sending Smiles, as I mentioned, and the sending dies. We're also going to use Scalloped Contour dies. We've got a beautiful array of colors: Daffodil Delight, Polished Pink, and Old Olive. And I'll go through more as we go. So those of you who are in my club already have a pre-made kit ready to go, so grab that out. And those of you watching along that aren't in my club, I will be giving you the measurements as we go. So let's get started. This is take 2, hence we already have some ink on the scrap paper. But let's go ahead. We've got, as I mentioned, the kit for the club members. Let's stick these sides here. So we're starting off with a thick basic white card base. This is thicker than our regular basic white, and it makes a perfect sturdy card base. So I've got this one measuring 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored in the center at 4 1/4. And the bump to the inside is the best way to fold your cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that on the score line. And then I'm going to bring in my bone folder here, and I'm just going to burnish that edge so it's a nice crisp fold. Okay, so here we are, and this is going to be a landscape card as I showed you earlier. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to attach our beautiful Glimmer paper strips. So these measure 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 long. This paper is stunning, and it comes in all 5 of the in colors. Okay, and then of course this is the Orchid Oasis we're using. Isn't it beautiful how it's just that gradient? You can buy a package. It's $16.50 here in Canada, and you get 20 sheets, which is 4 of each color. It's very, very pretty paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attach those strips onto the card. So I am using my Stampin' Seal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the card so it's up on my grid paper along one line at the top here. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I want these strips to be relatively straight. And then I'm going to choose a line down here. So I'm going to use this line, the one below the lesser dark one. And I'm going to line it up on that edge. And then over here, I'm going to line it up the same. And then I'm going to make sure that that is relatively straight. Then I'll just go ahead and I'll put the second one on. And I'm using the lighter of the gradient on the left-hand side. Okay, so we're just going to evenly space that. Okay, so there we go. There's the start of our fun little card here. So I'm just going to set this aside. And the next thing in the kit is this basic white die cut scalloped rectangle. So that is from the Scalloped Contour, and it's this guy right here. So if you were going in from the center, it's the 3rd largest one. Okay, or third, yeah, 1, 2, 3. So, or 1, 2, 3. Third's the middle one. Okay, so that's the one I've gone ahead and already die cut that out for the members of the club. And we're going to use our Old Olive ink. And the first stamp we're going to start with is this one here. So this one has the leaves and 2 stems where we can put 2 flower heads on it. So I'm going to get that inked up in my Old Olive over here. And then what I want to do is I want to position it so that on the second scallop right here, I'm going to come in like this so that, just like this. Just trying to see how this is going to go here. So second scallop. I want to get both flowers on. Bear with me here. There we go. Okay, so the reason I was trying to situate that is I want to make sure that there's going to be enough room for both flowers on here. Okay. This one is going to go off the paper a bit, but that's okay. So the trick was to get the stem down here on the second one, and where it joins in this Y is just slightly above that stitch line. Okay. Now we're going to stamp this one here, which is just the 2 leaves with a single stem. And that one is going to go over here. Okay. And I'm just going to stamp that. And that one I stamped in onto the 3rd scallop from the edge. Okay, so here's where we're gonna do some fun stamping off. So we're gonna use this image here that is just all the 5 leaves. And we're gonna do the stamping off technique. So we're gonna get it nice and inky in our old olive. We're gonna stamp it off here once, and then we're just gonna stamp it over here. Okay, now I'm going off the paper intentionally. I don't want it to be super high. And we're going to do that repeatedly. So again, and then we'll go up a little higher. We'll stamp that again. And you can see how it's just giving that nice shaded depth to our foliage here. Okay, we'll just do that all the way across this card base. There, perfect. Okay, so now you can see that it's really, really pretty, and it's got some nice depth to it. Okay, so we're done with our old olive. Now we'll come in with our polished pink. And we're going to use this flower here. Okay, so when I look at this flower, I can see a bigger gap between these 2 petals here at the bottom. That's where I'm going to use to position my stems. So we're going to get this nice and inky. And then we're just going to situate it. Because it's photopolymer, we can see where that stem's hitting. And then we're going to stamp that. Beautiful. Okay. So we'll do the same thing to this guy here. And then once more over here. And as I mentioned, this one is going to go off the paper. Oh, there's a little puppy hair stuck to my stamp. Give me 1 second here. I'll just clean that off. Okay. So now we're just going to go ahead and stamp that guy over here. And as I mentioned, it is going to go off the paper, but that's okay. Isn't that pretty? I love these flowers. All right, so now I've got the polished pink for now, and we're going to bring in the Daffodil Delight. And with this little tiny little circle. So if I was to show you the stamp set, here we go. So we're using this little tiny dot here, okay? We're going to use our Daffodil Delight, and we're just going to find that center in our stamp and stamp it. So I love that these are photopolymer. It's nice and easy to layer them up and get the ink where you want it. So there we go. There is our beautiful little feature part of this card. Now before we put the ink pads completely away, I'm going to pull out the polished pink once again. And I've got a little tiny piece here. It's 1/2 inch by 2 inches. Okay, so just 1/2 inch by 2 inches of basic white. And I am going to need a different color. So I'm just gonna pull in just a random piece here. Some paper I had already on my desk. This happens to be Granny Apple Green, just to put my white paper on so it's easier to see when I go to stamp this. So I've got my greeting, which says, ooh, upside down, birthday wishes. We're going to stamp that in the polished pink, right in the center of this little piece here. Awesome. Okay, so there we go. Now we are completely done with the ink pads, so I'm just going to close them up and set them aside here and get rid of that paper. Now let's bring in the other pieces. So here's a circle that comes from the Stylish Shapes dies. And this circle, for those of you who aren't in the club and want to go along, this is the one that is 2 1/8 inches across, okay? And it's got that beautiful, nice stitching around it. We've also got from these sending dies right here. So let me just open these up so I can show you guys what we've done. So here is the outline of the word sending. So this would coordinate with the stamp in the stamp set right here. So if you were to stamp that, you could then go ahead and cut that out. This isn't to scale, but you'll know what I mean. And then this one here is what we've got. And it's just the detailed, really thin line script word sending. So those are already cut out for you. So you want to cut out the shadow one in white, and I'll explain that little dot in a minute. And then we've got the thinner one in the Orchid Oasis. So I have gone ahead and had these cut out with the adhesive paper on the back, which is going to be a game changer when it comes to adhering this. So we're going to pop out these little pieces that didn't fall out when I took it off the Stamp Cut and Emboss machine. So we're just popping those out. Some of them, sometimes they're a little bit small for your fingernail, so I'm just going to use my Take a Pick tool. Okay. So as you may have guessed, when I cut this out, it did have the tiny little dot for the eye. So rather than try and get those into everybody's kits and not get them lost, I just went ahead and stuck it where it belongs. So if you're wondering what that little dot is, that's what it is. If you're joining us from home and you're making this, then that's just going to be one of the steps in this next part. Okay, so now because we cut this out with the sticky paper behind it, we're just going to peel that off. Okay, oops. Gently, Denise. Okay, there we go. So we've got that all peeled off, and now, ooh, it's so sticky, don't fall. Now we can go ahead and put this on top of the white. And again, I'm going to pull that Granny Apple Green piece in just so I can see this a little more clear. Okay, and we're going to just put the S down here. Oops. There we go. Oh, goodness. Okay. There we go. Now, once you get it started, it goes a lot easier. Just getting that first one in the perfect position. As you can see, the rest just sort of fall into place. So there we go. Now, if you don't have the double-sided adhesive sheets, then you can, of course, just use your fussy glue or your multi-purpose glue to get that laid down on there. But as you can see, that adhesive sheet worked amazingly. Okay, let's go ahead and complete this card. So now we've got our base that we did earlier, and we're going to attach this beautiful stamped image that we made here using our Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to put one in each corner. And one in the center. And then we'll go ahead and peel those off. And we'll just situate that so it's going to overlap here to the bottom. We can see a little bit of the beautiful glimmer paper on the left, and then we've got the rest of it over here on the right. So now we'll go ahead and we'll take our Orchid Oasis die cut circle and we're going to attach it there. Now I wanted to overlap this one, so I don't want to put Stampin' Dimensionals here because it'll be too high. So I'm going to just take a couple and I'm going to put them on the right hand side here. And then we'll cover it. I want it to cover those lines just like so. So you can see them on both edges, but not through the middle. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is take our birthday wishes greeting that we stamped, and I'm going to place that across here just like so. So we're going to use multi-purpose glue for that one. Put a little bead of that across the back, and then we're going to attach that here. What I love about that glue is that it does give you a little bit of wiggle room, as you can see, so I can move it to where I want it. And basically what I'm looking for is the top two corners to touch the edges of this circle. Okay, there's that. Now we'll take our sending greeting and we're going to attach that to our Orchid Oasis circle using Stampin' Dimensionals. Now you can use your regular ones if that's what you have and cut them down to size, or if you've got the minis, they're going to be perfect for this. So we're going to start with the E, put them behind the E, and no further than the top of the, oh, I think it was the N. Let's just double check that. Yes, the top of the N. Okay, so that's as wide as the circle goes. And then we'll just put one in the center here of the D. Peel those off. There we go. Okay, and then we can situate that on our card like so. There we go. Now, of course, we need to add a little bit of bling. So you can use whatever bling that you have on hand at home. For this card, I have chosen to use iridescent rhinestones. These are absolutely beautiful. I love all the different colors in them. So again, I'm going to use my Take a Pick tool. I'm going to use the opposite end that has my sticky end, which needs to be cleaned up here a little bit. And we're just going to go ahead and pull off some of the smaller ones. So just slide them off like that, stick it down. Slide them off, stick it down, and then one more of the medium-sized ones here. And I'm going to put that one over here by the G. All right, so there we have it. There is our Stamp of the Month card, sending birthday wishes. Again, we've used the Sending Smiles stamp set and the coordinating sending dies. Those are available in the brand new, let me just grab a copy here, the brand new annual catalog that just was released on May the 3rd. And it's got the page marked here. So here's the beautiful bundle that we've used right here on page 14. So here in Canada, the bundle, you get a 10% savings for a total of $67.50 before shipping and tax. And you get the stamp and the coordinating dies. So you can order that yourself online through my online store, which can all be linked through my website, which is createwithbirdsnest.ca. Everything is there, super easy to use and find. In the description of this video here on YouTube, I will have the dimensions written out for you, as well as a supply list that you can just click those links and it'll take you right to the store and make it super easy. So thank you very, very much for being here with me and stamping along as we created this gorgeous birthday card. Until next time, have a crafty day and talk to you soon. Cheers.